Hello everybody and welcome back to layout update number 11 here on the Long Island and Southern Railroad. Before I begin, I just want to welcome all the new subscribers. I've had a lot recently on the channel and I'm very thankful for it. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to never miss another video of my layout or any of my other train adventures that I may have. For those of you who might have missed my last layout update video, I highly suggest you go back and watch that, because if you haven't, a lot has changed on the layout between layout update number 9, 10, and this one, number 11. But with that, let's get into layout progress here on the railroad. As always, I start with the left side of the layout and I work my way to the right. So the first big thing that has happened is that I recently installed this new flat building. And if you saw my emergency intro remake video, it actually lights up and it has a fire inside, which I'll demonstrate now. Originally, I had that building flat in between the building on fire and the other apartment flat to the right, but my Norfolk Southern SD45 and my Alaska SD70 Mac both had clearance issues coming around this curve here and hitting it, which stopped the train. So I had to move it over here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing back there yet, but it's not going to be just mountains. Maybe a parking lot of sorts, but I'm not exactly sure yet. So in the front of the layout, we have the new grade crossing grade. This is a piece of foam board that I cut on an angle, painted black, put stripes on it with the yellow paint marker, and the railroad crossing insignia with a white paint marker. And it looks pretty good. Before, I just had this piece of grip adhesive on the side of the fast track, so it wasn't a very realistic grade, but now it slopes up to the road and across the train tracks, which I think looks a lot better than what I had. And when I did this one, I also did a second one in the back of the layout. This is also another piece of foam board that I painted up black, and if you can see over the train crossing on the backdrop, I painted a road so it looks like the road goes somewhere. 2, 3. And right next to that new grade crossing, the apartment building, the MTH townhouse, that is now all wired up, so it has more lights in it. Originally, if you may remember from previous episodes, there was only one light bulb inside the building, and it looked as if there weren't any lights in it, so I installed a Lionel peel and stick light inside the apartment building, and now it's much brighter. Now, I also did the same thing with my Bachman ice cream stand. It's a porcelain-like building, a lot like a Village 56 building, but it doesn't have any lights on inside. So I also installed a peel and stick light inside the ice cream stand. I probably need to add 1 or 2 more, but as for right now, it looks pretty good. Now, as for road work, a lot of it has been near completion lately, but I installed this little ramp with adhesion grip tape, which is what I also used on the railroad crossings. There is about a 1/4 of an inch difference between the height of this table and the height of this table, so I need something to ramp up, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted with the foam board, so I just stick this adhesive here, and eventually I will connect the 2 double yellow lines. I also did some more curb work, so around the ice cream stand there's curb. This is going to be a little picnic area, like a picnic table and people eating ice cream. I still need to get one more piece of curb, which is just a piece of balsa wood for this side. And on Main Street here, I finished the double yellow line through town. So I still need to touch up some areas, but it's looking good. One last piece of curbing was installed here on an island between the Main Street and the railroad parking lot. Somehow I need to figure out how to curve it, and then once I get all the curbing in place, I will scenic it, probably put some shrubs and whatnot just to beautify the town a little bit more. 3. Up in front here, the railroad station has seen a lot of detailing. I went to my local Long Island Railroad station and I actually took pictures of signs at their station, and I put them into Microsoft Word. I scaled them to O scale and put them on my own Deer Park Railroad station. So as you can see here, we have the station name. On the side here is a little watch the gap, their like chance of electrocution. We have a ticket vending machine and a waiting room ticket sign, and those should look familiar to viewers of my channel. On the station platforms themselves, I also have the Deer Park insignia and the Watch the Gap chance of electrocution sign. And then lastly, I did this out of foam board painted yellow with some balsa wood. I also printed out the Watch the Gap, which are on the station platform at the Long Island Railroad stations. Now originally I had these two yellow stripes going down both sides of the longer station platform. If you follow my Instagram, RJ's Trains, you would have seen it, and I'll throw a picture of it in now. But I was having a lot of problems with some rolling stock and the trucks hitting the foam board and causing derailments. So for right now, I took everything out, and I will probably redo it at a later time with some balsa wood, which I think will probably turn out just a bit nicer. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, some eagle-eyed viewers of my last few videos might have noticed this and mentioned it in the comments, but a lot of ballasting work has also taken place. So when the three layout tables were taken apart for room construction, a lot of the ballast got messed up. So all of the ballast from the north side of the train station around the entire layout between the two double main lines and up until here is all completed, nearly 100% done. I am holding off on doing the rest of it. There's no way I can really get ballast right now because of the New York lockdowns, but I want to make sure that all of my track is perfect before I complete the ballast. I know for a fact that this piece of fast track right here, it needs to be replaced. It has a bent rail. It actually has there's a divot in the rail right here, and it doesn't conduct electricity. So I need to get a new piece of 10-inch fast track to go right here. Also in the yard, I had to move the sanding tower to one of the yard tracks. Originally, when I had an 036 switch in front of the engine shed, I had it in front of the far left engine stall, but with the 072 switch, I had to take that out. And then I put it where this 10-inch piece of fast track is, but because of the tight curves, the engines were hitting up against the standing tower. So unfortunately, I had to move it here, but although it's not super prototypical, it's extremely nice, and it's a neat little added touch to add to any layout. The last new thing that's happened in the yard area is that I've installed these Lionel number 70 yard lights. I picked these up on one of my trips to Nassau Hobby Center, but I have two in the yard here. One next to the tool shed, one just shining down one of the tracks, and the third yard light was placed over by the farm. Now, as for farm progress, I haven't touched up on the scenery between the main line and the farm, but I have placed hay bales around the farm, some on the truck, some next to the barn, some down there, and this yard light really helps to illuminate the area at night, so it isn't lost. Well, that about wraps it up for layout progress. Stay tuned through the end of the video to watch the trains run around the layout. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. It helps me and the channel out a lot. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone. Take care.